Hey everybody, it's Jennifer. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be walking you guys through my intentions for my planner for 2026. So welcome back. I'm so glad to have you guys here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season so far, surrounded by your loved ones. So let's get into this video. What you guys are seeing before me is this is my current chunky mini happy planner that I have been using, and I just did a tour of this on my channel. This is just a storage planner. It's where I'm keeping all of my mini supplies, and this little guy here is going to be an addition to my lineup. So I have some notes off to the side that I'm going to be referring to and talking you guys through some of what my thought process is going into the new year. So let's go ahead and get started, you guys. So you guys have probably by now watched the tour of my mini happy planner. So many things have changed. My planner lineup looks so much different this going into 2026 than going into 2025. The biggest change has been that I have switched from a classic size to a mini. And another thing that's changed is I have decided to rededicate my life to Christ, and I have been praying and asking God to show me how He wants me to use my planner. And what I've been trying to do is organize my planner in a way that God is going to get the glory and He's first in my planner. So what I have in the beginning is my prayer journal, and this is where I have my devotional time. I commune with God. I speak to Him. I pour out my heart to Him. I love to write and I love to journal. So a big part of my planner has all of my journaling in here and my prayers in here. So this first part of my planner is devoted to my prayers. So these are some of the prayers that I have for myself moving into 2026, and I'll just read a few of them off of here. I'm asking God to continue to help me be His student. I want to continue to serve Him. I asked Him to make me into His clay so He can continue to mold me. I ask Him to give me more time to sit at His feet. I want to have more faith, which is my word of the year going into 2026. And I want to trust Him. I asked Him to give me obedience, open eyes, open ears, and an open heart. And then I have this little prayer card that says, "Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me." Psalm 51:10. So that's the first part of my planner when I open it up. So I have 6 months of this undated horizontal layout in a mini. So that's going to carry me through into 2026. So that is going to be staying the same. So moving into this section of my planner, and I have been using this Stargazer horizontal layout as a catch-all. This will be changing in 2026, and I'm going to explain how. So I've been using this pretty much for work and personal things, and again, that's going to change. So I have this until December, and I've already went ahead and decorated this with some Christmas stickers that I found in my stash. So my intention has been, or my process rather has been, I put a little sticker down the middle. I put work on one side, my personal stuff on the other side. And again, this is going to change. So starting January 2026, this is no longer going to be my catch-all, and I'll talk about what I'm going to use instead. So I was asking the Lord how He wants me to use this, because I still have 6 months of this left. This is going to take me all the way until, this is going to take me into June of 2026. And I'm no longer using this. So the other day I woke up, and let me know in the comments if this happens to you guys as well. I woke up and I just was getting down on myself, and I was being critical of myself, and I was just saying, oh, Jennifer, you know, at your age, you should be having this, you should be doing this. And I was really getting into this mind frame of being like, feeling like behind, or things weren't happening fast enough for me. And the Holy Spirit so graciously reminded me that it is not in my best interest to measure myself by the world standards, because by the world standards, it's never going to be enough. And I am just really trying to come to a place of honoring myself with God's standards. So when I was in this mind frame, I was really losing sight of everything that God has done for me thus far. And I decided to use this horizontal layout as an evidence section. And when I say evidence, I mean everything that God has done in my life thus far, prayers that he's answered for me, things that he's gotten me out of, things that he's currently working with me on. And because sometimes I can totally lose sight of that, and I really have to go back and say, Jennifer, remember on, you know, this day and time, you know, God helped me with this, or during this season of my life, I was able to overcome, you know, XYZ. So I'm going to be using this as my evidence section, all of the evidence of God's work in my life. So that's going to be January through June of 2026. That is going to be my evidence section. So I have been using this Jess Miller Draws vertical layout as my creative journal, and I don't go by the dates. I just write in it as if it was a blank sheet of paper. And this is just kind of where I have all the fun and get all of my thoughts out. Again, you guys, I journal so much. So we will get into the planning section in just a little bit, but I really love to journal, and I wanted to make space for all of the journaling that I do in my planner. So I also do like memory keeping in here as well. I like to put a lot of pictures in here of, you know, my family, my son and I. So this is just a creative catch-all space in my planner that I love to have. So this is just from July until December. And then I'm going to have the rest of the Jess Miller Draws vertical layout from January to June that I'm going to be using. That is not going to change. So the thing that is going to change, let's talk about that. Let's talk about what is going to change. So I'm going to slide this over for a second. And we're going to talk about what is going to change in my planner. And this is an undated dashboard layout. And I know you guys are going to be gasping, what, Jennifer, a dashboard layout? I can't believe it either. When I was in my planner rut and I was in my classic size, with me trying to get out of my rut, I was playing around with a dashboard layout, and I'm starting to like it a lot, and here's why. So I'm just gonna flip through this really quickly. This is a really old happy planner that I purchased on Poshmark. So it's undated. And it has, I don't think Happy Planner does this anymore, but it has errands, get it done, calls, emails, noted, and focus on. So the way that I intend to use this is going to be a little bit different. I would always struggle with this page But what I have found out about myself when it comes to planning is I don't really make like cohesive spreads that like really like match and are themed. I just kind of vomit all of my stickers down, for lack of a better term. So I was going to use this page just as a collage. I can put my little pictures, some quotes, some Bible verses, and stickers on this side. So I can just go to town with my decorations on this side and use this side as all of my functional day-to-day stuff. So this will be my personal planner. I am separating the two. So I'm going to have a personal planner and then I will have a separate work planner. That's going to be the thing that's changing. So again, this is an undated dashboard. It is extremely neutral. I'm just going to show you guys the dividers. I really love this. So I am going to be using this for personal. I'm also going to be using it for work. So I was looking on the Happy Planner website, and for my mini pals out there, there's not a lot of options for us. They did have this dark blooms or this moody garden one. I'll try to put a picture of it that I really wanted. It's in a dashboard layout. It's super cute. But I really don't want to buy anything right now. I want to just kind of stick to whatever I have on hand at the moment. So my plan is to use, since this is undated, my plan is to use the first 6 months of this for personal and the rest of the 6 months for my work planner. So this will be personal, this will be for work. And then come June 2026, then I'm going to have to get all the new things. So we're just going to go with what we have and worry about that bridge when we cross it. Like I said, there's not a lot of options for the Happy Planner Mini. So, and another thing with the Happy Planner, I haven't been seeing a lot of covers that I'm excited about. Of course, with the classic Happy Planner being their most popular, of course, you know, that is going to have the most options, and I totally understand that. But I have really been considering making my own covers. I've been considering buying inserts on Etsy, just until I can see some planners that are more so calling to my aesthetic. So I love a good black cover with some flowers, and Happy Planner did do that with their new I don't know what they're calling the line. I'll put some pictures up. They really delivered on that. However, I'm no longer in the classic. I'm down to a mini size, and I'm just needing, you know, some more options. So until then, I'm just gonna lay low and stick with what I have. So that is the main thing that's changing, is I'm going to be separating my personal stuff from my work stuff. And I feel like that's just going to make so much more sense for my brain. I've really been needing a separation in those two areas. That is kind of my thought process moving forward. So, and I will show you guys my notes here just to kind of wrap up what we've talked about so far. So I have the floral horizontal as my prayer journal. I have the stargazer horizontal as kind of evidence of God's work in my life. I have the undated dashboard for personal, the undated dashboard for work. So I am still missing a few areas, and you know, this planner is already super chunky, so I'm going to show you guys my plans on how to add some more sections to my planner without making it more chunky than it already is. So my thought process is I still have, you know, my YouTube channel, right? And guys, please excuse my chicken scratch. And that pen seems to be running out of ink. I still have my YouTube channel. I still have my website. And I still have my collection of personal essays. I'm just going to abbreviate that. My collection of personal essays. So how am I going to incorporate these things into my planner? So I haven't had a YouTube section in my planner for a long time because YouTube is something that I do on the side in addition to my full-time job. I know a lot of people have YouTube as their full-time career, so maybe they need like an actual planner for that. I'm not needing a planner for these three areas. So what I plan to do, I'm gonna go over here to like all of my storage. So I have just some filler paper in here as storage. And so what I plan to do is use something like this. This is some filler paper from the Happy Planner, and I think they have this little planner currently on their website. So there's these shaded areas, and then there's these little boxes here. So I thought about doing something like this. So I thought about doing like, okay, that's my YouTube section, and then you know, it's gonna be like, these are the videos that I want to, you know, produce for this month. So I thought about using like maybe one of these sheets for the entire month. So this will be for YouTube, this will be for my website, and this will be for my book. And then I don't know what this will be, maybe nothing at all. And then another thing that I've been thinking about is I've been really wanting to do like a currently page in my planner. So I don't know, maybe I'll use just like, this was some classic size dot grid that I had that I cut down to a mini size. So I'm really thinking of doing like a monthly currently page. And instead of tracking my wellness, which I'm kind of burned out, you guys, if I'm being honest, on tracking my wellness, maybe I will just track it like every month. Maybe I will say something like, okay, what am I nourishing my body with? You know, what movies I'm watching, what am I reading? I don't know. I have no idea how that's going to look, but instead of having an entire planner for these items or an entire planner for wellness, I'm just going to be using filler paper. So for YouTube, it's going to be filler paper. For my website, it's going to be filler paper. For my collection of personal essays, it's going to be filler paper, because I don't address these areas on the daily. These areas of my life are more like weekly or monthly tasks. So I don't want to devote an entire planner for these areas if I'm not going to be using them as often. So speaking of my book and my website, those are going to change as well. So my YouTube channel name has changed, right? So my YouTube channel was previously all about me, and that is not how I'm living my life right now. My life is all about the Lord. So I had a channel name change. So it is now Faithful Plans. And guys, please excuse my chicken scratch. And then my website name is changing as well. So my website was previously called Paper Poetry Prose, and I am now changing that to something like Prayers Poetry Prose, just making that one word change. Now my collection of personal essays, this is going to be the biggest change. Because this entire book that I wrote, over 50,000 words, it's sitting on my computer. It's totally in a rough draft stage, but I am going to have to pretty much rewrite this entire book so that God gets the glory. And in this entire book, I didn't mention God in this book at all. And I wrote it in a way that I wrote this book in a way that suggested that I brought myself out of so many things, but that's not entirely true. The Lord brought me at a lot of difficult times. So this is going to be a really big undertaking to get this book figured out, and I have no idea. So but I'm putting it in my planner. You know, I'm going to figure all that out down the line. But again, I will just be using filler paper for these areas in my life. And I have lots of filler paper. Oops, I'm blowing this away. I have a lot of filler paper here that I can use. So for my website, if you guys have checked it out, again, it's like poetry, prose. I love to write. If God allowed, I would literally write every day, but and for a living, if God allows that in my life. So I really want to start writing personal essays for God. I want to start writing poetry and prose for God. So I'm really praying and asking him to help me to do that. So I'm also going to be adding just some dot grid or some lined paper to my planner so I can start writing poems for the Lord in here somewhere in my planner as well. So yeah, so I'm gonna have a poems section as well. So yeah, it's gonna be all of this in my little chunky happy planner here. 4 planners essentially, and then filler paper for the rest of it. I hope all of that makes sense. And if you guys watch my channel, I guess I will just add a disclaimer that all of this is subject to change. This is my thought process for right now, God willing. Thank you guys so much for watching this video and just hanging out with me as I brainstormed what my intentions are moving forward into 2026. I pray that you can find some space in your planner to give God some glory, and happy planning as you figure out which planners, notebooks, and journals are going to work for you next year. God bless you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.